Welcome to Cougnation. Tonight we recap highlights and results from across Cougar athletics.
We catch up with Cougar alum Kirsten Dahlstream.
And we get a little familiar with baseball freshman P.J. Jones. All that and more coming at you now on Cougnation.
The end is never the end.
Touchdown, Washington State.
A test no man could be prepared for. A new hell he must conquer and destroy. A new level of growth he must confront himself. The machine and the ghost within.
It is, in fact, Anderson. Anderson able to hold on for the victory.
In case you didn't know, I'm Reid Murphy.
And I'm Brady Bonser. Welcome to this week's episode of Cougnation, the sports show that's all Coug, all the time.
Well, it's been a wild roller coaster season for the men's basketball team, but the Cougs finished on a high note, overtaking the USC Trojans in the squad's last regular season game. The Saucy Brock Modom's 27 points led the Cougs to a 43-38 victory and solidified him as the second leading scorer in the Pac-12 this season. Despite Modom's success, the Cougs failed to score in the last 9 minutes of the contest. The USC game also marked the 128th of senior guard Marcus Caper's career. His 128 games in a WSU jersey make it the most by any Cougar since George Hamilton in 1949. God, I bet Brock's back hurt a little bit after that one.
Yeah, Aussie, ow, ow, ow. Sticking on the topic of basketball, the women's team lost a tough one against the USC Trojans in the regular season finale at Beasley Coliseum. Sophomore guard Brandy Thomas led the way for the Cougars with 17 points and 8 rebounds. She led her teammates with a solid field goal percentage, finding the net 6 out of her 11 attempts. Seniors Rosie Tarnowski and April Cook both contributed as well, scoring 11 and 8 points respectively. Washington State women's basketball finished their regular season with 13 wins, showing improvement from last season's 9.
You know, with 13 this season, I don't see why we can't beat Stanford next year.
Yeah, I'm going to give us a 21-game win.
I like that.
Yeah.
Solid. Well, Cougar soccer has undergone a major facelift over the past few weeks, and a 4-1 scrimmage victory over Montana State shows they're adjusting just fine. The departure of head coach Matt Potter in December left the door wide open for former Auburn head coach Keidani Alpine to fill the role. After a second-round appearance in the NCAA championships this last fall, Alpine says he's eager to see how a group of such experienced players comes together next season. The soccer squad also picked up a new assistant in the form of UNLV head coach Jen Klein. Klein was a team captain at Arizona in her playing days and became the youngest head coach in Division I history when she took over the Rebels 2 years ago.
And they're only losing 3 players, so you know they're going to be stacked next year.
So not only are they beautiful, but they're also talented.
One of the Cougar greats to come out of WSU soccer was Kirsten Dahlstream. In her time here at WSU, she won a gold medal at the U20 World Cup in Chile, set the all-time record for goals scored with 30 goals, and was drafted to play professionally in 2010. She's joining us on the phone today to fill us in on her professional experience and her life after college. Kirsten, thanks so much for joining us today. We're really excited to be talking with you.
Yeah, no problem.
First off, I just wanted to ask you how things are going with you and your career, and just what have you been up to since your time at Washington State?
Played for Boston this past summer. I was going to go back, so I signed a minimum contract just to go back there, and then about a week later, that's when they canceled the season. So my contract is terminated, and now I am going to be playing in the WPSL League with the Phoenix team.
Oh, okay, great.
And probably some already graduated Washington State players, which is going to be really fun.
Has that been kind of the biggest challenge for you since leaving here? Just kind of the uncertainty of everything going on and all the changes?
Oh, yeah. College was great because you knew everything that was happening. There wasn't, you knew where you were going to be each year, and it's definitely different, leaving college and not having that security and no job security by any means, so I miss college.
yeah, I'm not ready to leave either. What was the transition like from WSU to the pros to playing? What kind of things did you have to go to kind of prepare yourself for that whole deal, and where you're at now?
Well, I would definitely say the biggest thing was fitness-wise. It's a whole nother level of fitness required by everyone playing professionally, and there's no excuses. If you're not fit, you don't play. It doesn't matter how good you are or anything like that, or
Right.
How big your ego is. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the standards are way higher. It's faster, but for me that's more exciting. And I like playing against the best players in the world. I think it's fun and it makes me better, and it's challenging, and it's different every day. And as far as practicing, every single practice people try their hardest, and I've never been around that before. So it was definitely eye-opening, and it changed me as a player because all my teammates are working harder. Why wouldn't I want to work harder? So.
All right, well, just one last thing. What kind of can we expect? I know you're in Phoenix now, and I hope you're really enjoying that. But what can we expect for you kind of in the near future?
Like I said before, I'm going to play in the WPSL in Phoenix. That should start in, I believe, April or May.
Perfect. Well, Kirsten, thanks so much for your time, and we wish you all the best as you figure out things and take the next step with your career.
You're welcome.
Hey, Brady, you smell that?
Yeah, it smells like freshly cut grass.
That's right, Brady. It's baseball season.
Washington State baseball, 7-3 in non-conference, ended their 5-game win streak in the second of 3 games against Northern Colorado. Head coach Donnie Marbut said, "We didn't play well. We didn't compete hard. That's what cost you ball games." However, it was a different story in the 3rd game. The Cougars scored in multiple innings to get the victory and take the series. Washington State will continue its schedule with its next 8 games on the road.
Man, these freshmen aren't playing half bad right now.
And they're going to need that if they're hitting the road for 8 games.
Well, we actually caught up with one of those freshmen, P.J. Jones, a Vancouver native. He set the pace early this season, including a double and 2 RBIs in the Nebraska-Omaha series. He also had 2 hits in his 3 at-bats in the final game against Northern Colorado. But you may be surprised to know, baseball wasn't always his first choice.
I'm P.J. Jones. I'm from Vancouver, Washington. Went to Mount View High School. I'm originally born in Texas, so Fort Hood, Texas, and moved up here when I was about 6, 7. I never really was into baseball. I was more into basketball and football, but I ended up playing baseball, so Little League Baseball, when I was about 8 years old, and for a lot of kids that was really late. But once I started, it seemed just like take it up pretty naturally, like could always just hit and always just had fun doing it. In high school, I learned that I'm not gonna be a very good basketball player since I'm not growing or anything. I kind of went 50-50 football and baseball. Like, I love both of them, especially just football, nothing like a football game, like on Friday nights. But I just learned just to balance it and just whatever got me like to the next level, because I knew I wanted to end up playing a sport at the next level in college. So ended up being baseball, but either way I would have been happy with either one. I first started getting like my first letters and emails from schools, like D1 schools from all over, like the PAC and then the nation. And I ended up getting Washington State's when I was about 16, 17. But I just realized after like my visits and everything that Washington State was the best choice for me. I want to take advantage of this whole season with my teammates, and this year as a Cougar. And then summer baseball, I'll end up playing summer league in Vermont. So I want to definitely make it through the school season first, and then get better every day and see where I can take my game and see how everything's going to go.
The track and field team also finished up their season at rival University of Washington. Senior runner Joe Abbott ran his season fastest time in the 800 meter, but it wasn't enough to propel him into the NCAA championships. A few other Wazoo notables from the last chance meet were senior Ryan Barrett, who won the 400 meter sprints with a personal best time, and senior Nick Smith, who also placed in the 800 meter. The lone Cougar hopeful competing in the NCAA championships will be junior Stephen Scott Ellis, who claims top 10 national marks in both the long jump and triple jump. Scott Ellis will compete for the championships in Boise.
WSU sure has some fast ones, I'll tell you that much.
That's all we breed out here.
Yeah. Washington State University rugby has been looking strong this season. The men's team played a brilliant game against the University of Oregon March 3rd, coming out on top with a final score of 15-5. The win advances their record to 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. As men's rugby prepares for the postseason, the Cougars' biggest competition is going to be undefeated Oregon State. Women's rugby finished the regular season with a whopping 74-0 shutout against Central Washington University. The victory secured an undefeated league season and named the Cougars league champions. Our own Joe Carreras was able to catch the girls at their last home game February 25th against the Huskies.
The undefeated WSU women's rugby team had two tasks on tap. One, playing in-state rival University of Washington Huskies, and the other, braving the cold and windy temperatures here at Valley Playfields. Any home field advantage the WSU women's rugby team may have had was wiped out with the wind chill dipping into the teens. This didn't faze the veteran-laden Cougs, though, who know that sometimes to be successful, you have to alter the game plan.
With this high amount of wind, rugby has a lot of kicks, a lot of long passes. You just can't do it. So we tend to shorten it up, play with our forwards a lot, which are bigger, stronger girls, and short passes, and they hit harder. When we get done with this, we'll play a regional tournament, and that'll be like California teams and things like that. So basically, all of the West Coast. After that, we'll move on and we'll play the top 16 in the nation, likely in Florida. And then after that, it'll be the top 4 in the country.
The Cougs didn't seem to have any problems with the Huskies, pitching a shutout 42-0. So why are the Cougs so dominant? Well, for starters, they're always on the lookout for new talent, and those that do come out usually stick around.
Oh, it's definitely something going to get involved in. Practices are great. I mean, even though you may not play in all the games, I mean, everyone's supportive on the team, and you learn a lot. It's fun to even get started. A lot of girls who start don't have any previous experience whatsoever, and so it's great to just get out there and figure out if you like it or not.
Despite the challenges of playing in the wind and snow, the WSU women's rugby team retained their undefeated record as they move one step closer to playing in the national tournament. Reporting for Cougnation, I'm Joe Carreras.
Well, wrapping up our news for this episode, let's head over to Adam and Robin as they take on America's favorite pastime and break down the Cougar baseball team in this week's opinion segment. Adam?
Thanks, Reid. I'm Adam Loewy.
And I'm Robin Ditch, and welcome to the Cougnation opinion segment. Our first topic is just what is going to separate this year's baseball season from last, Adam?
Robin, I'm immensely optimistic for this season. We're 7-3 right now, and we haven't even started Pac-12 play.
Well,
Donnie Marbett has done a great job with this team in his 9th season. He's the 9th winningest coach also for the Cougars.
I mean, I'm just not as optimistic as you are. I mean, we started 6-4 last year, so what's the difference? It's the same, 10 games, just 1 win difference. And 6 out of 11 teams in the Pac-12, they're either in the top 25
but
or
we're batting
considering.
.313 right now with an ERA under 4. Right now, we're putting the whole package together, offensively and defensively. We've been consistent overall.
You got Stanford at number 2. We lost seniors including Cody Bartlett and James Wise, and I just see a lot of inconsistency with this program, and I can't trust it.
But we do have that one player, Derek Jones. He has been an all Pac-12 mention from last year, that was. And this year, he's batting .364 with 2 home runs, 24 total bases, which is the most on team. Also, 6 bases on balls. He's shown a lot of patience thus far.
That might be your player to watch, but mine, I'm going to go with my boy, J.D. Leckenby. He pitched 18 games out of the bullpen last year with a 2.28 ERA, best out of all the relievers. He's a sophomore, and I feel that this year he can break out as a starter, and that's what I believe. I think as a pitcher, he's going to dominate in the Pac-12.
One thing, though, about Derek Jones is he also has the whole package. He is also a great outfielder. He has had a 1,000 fielding percentage thus far on the season, and he got drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, don't forget, last season, and chose to stick with Wazoo, though.
But Leckenby's 2-1 so far with a 3.24 ERA, and has 14 Ks and only 16.2 innings pitched. But that's all we have for this time. Make sure to mention us when you tweet your opinions. Hashtag WSU Cougnation. We want to know what you think. But for now, it's back to the desk with you, Reid.
Good night, Canada. I wish I had a flag to wave.
Thanks, Robin. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Cougnation. Make sure to tune in next time for a brand new episode and the recent highlights and news on your favorite Cougar teams.
To keep updated on Cougnation happenings in between episodes, check out our Facebook page and follow us on our Twitter account at WSU Cougnation.
Thanks again for joining us. Once again, I'm Reid Murphy.
And I'm Brady Bonser. Good night and go Cougs.